Hi, good evening, everyone. This is Leré Robinson coming to you live from Leré's barn here in Irmo, South Carolina. And it is just such a wonderful privilege for me to be here with you this afternoon and just to share a little bit about healthy living and healthy eating and wellness, but specifically with a focus on healthy weight management. And so at the end of the day, most of us have been in a lockdown mode throughout the world. We have people. Sorry, let me just see here. Okay, we have people from Oklahoma. We have people from South Africa joining us. And there are some countries that are still on lockdown, but I think I've spoken to many people, I've spoken to many personal trainers and who tell me they themselves, or the personal trainers, the clients have all, how can I say, been part of this challenge and are all being faced with extra pounds during this pandemic. And so my heart this morning or this afternoon is basically to share with you some information that can give you a good reboot, kickstart your metabolism, and just small practical ways that you can take home and apply and feel the difference. So just a little bit about myself for those of you who have not heard about me or know anything about me. My name is Leré Robinson. I have been in the wellness industry for 23 years. I am a nutritional consultant and a living well coach. And I work out of Leré's barn here in Irmo, South Carolina. I do cooking demonstrations, although the barn is not active now. I did my first Zoom online cooking class last night, which for a personal training studio, which was really a great success. So look out for that through my website, aliveagainonline.com. And we're going to be doing more Zoom cooking classes. If you as a group or you as a business want to join in and bring in your staff, you're more than welcome to contact me. So my heart is really to walk a road with people, to really help them very practically, because there's so much information out there and people get confused. I speak to practiced people in the industry that are confused. So I was sharing with one of the participants earlier before our recording that it's interesting that, everyone has a little bit of truth. And I believe that as we journey through life, you learn things from different people that you can apply, and it really makes a difference when it comes to improving your health. And so you all know, those of you who know me, those of you who've walked a road with me, you know that I believe in the principle, do that which you know, and God will do the rest. So today I really want to focus on healthy weight. Weight can be a challenge not only during this pandemic time where we've been forced into a whole new time or a season in life where we never thought we would be. Some people, when they go through stress and trauma, turn, to food to fill that emotional void. And we're going to speak about that in a bit. But at the end of the day, I want to give you practical, easy advice that you can switch off the computer and walk away and go and apply and go and feel the difference. And remember, I'm going to speak a little bit about the endocrine system, because your endocrine system controls every organ in your body. And weight loss plays a profound impact in your endocrine system. And so many times when we hear the word hormones, I always ask people what comes to mind. And a lot of people may say, a difficult monthly cycle, or they can be moody, or they can be irritable. But your endocrine and hormone system is much more than that, and we're going to speak about that briefly. But I want to start off by saying, how important is food in weight management? How important is food in healthy weight? moving forward, or maintaining a healthy weight, or losing weight. All of us are in a different place in our lives. But I always say to people, if your focus is good health, your weight will fall in line. Your motivation has to be right. And so I've seen it in the 23 years I've walked a road with people, that when your focus is good health, the blood pressure stabilizes, the blood sugars get regulated, everything falls in line, but it takes time. Okay. So I want to encourage you that, especially during this quarantine time, where we are probably more confronted with food than ever, because we walk past our refrigerators, our kids walk past our refrigerators all the time. I want to encourage you, this is the time to dial in your diet, and that your food is foundational to a healthy body and a healthy weight. You can exercise all you want, you can drink all the green smoothies you want, but if your stress levels are through the roof, that means nothing. It's about finding the balance. And when the lockdown first started, and this is what absolutely intrigued me. Now, I don't know where you were in your part of the world or your part of the country, but let me tell you, I just had to smile, because when the lockdown started and the toilet paper started flying off the shelves, what else flew off the shelves? I don't know if you noticed, but the first thing I noticed that flew off the shelves was pasta. Okay? So pastas, I mean, I watched it. Pastas, the crackers, the white rice, the baked goods, the hot pockets, frozen pizzas were empty. Okay? And I see some of you smiling, because that's the truth. And all the shelf-stable foods were the foods that flew off the shelf. And in my humble opinion, one of the best ways to strengthen your immune system, or to fight any virus, etc., is a strong, healthy immune system. So one thing I did notice was the fresh produce never, ever became depleted. I don't know about you, but no matter what store I went to, all the grocery stores were fully stocked on fresh fruit and vegetables. The fresh produce was more than enough. Isn't that interesting? So I want to ask you the following question. The foods that you are eating, the foods that you have, and I'm not here to preach condemnation, you need to hear me. And as we journey, you will see my approach is also to add the good things. Because if we just throw everything out, we're going to have a mutiny on our hands. Our family is going to rebel. Our husbands will rebel. And so and I'm going to give you some simple swaps towards the end. But at the end of the day, it's very important to address the food that is in your house at the moment. Because you need to ask yourself, what I stock in my pantry, what I stock in my snack cupboard, how well are those foods serving me and serving my health, okay, and serving a healthy weight? So the first topic I want to speak about, it's a question to you, is how metabolically flexible are you? So do you understand what that means when I ask you that question? So I'm going to break it down. How metabolically flexible are you? So that means, I've written it down so that I don't get it wrong. What is your ability, your body's ability to extract energy from fat, which means the fat on your plate, the fat on your body, your belly, where a lot of people carry it today, the carbs on your plate, the glucose in your blood, the glycogen in your muscles. And the challenge today that I see in the Western world, and I always say America because I live here, but I think it's a Western world problem, is that so many people are not metabolically flexible because they have access to eat so much sugar and processed, refined carbohydrates every single day. Along with that, heated oils. What do I mean by that? Heated soybean oils, heated canola oils, all these heated fats that when we go and eat out, they use the same fat or oil over and over to do the fries or the chips, wherever you are in the world. French fries, I think they say here in America, chips, as we say in South Africa. And so that's the problem. And so our bodies are being exposed to this all the time. And especially we are seeing an increasing rate of increased insulin resistant. So when our bodies cannot metabolize the fats properly, the sugars properly, that is when we become metabolically inflexible. Does that make sense? And so all of us know where we are at. We all know where in our bodies we have a shortfall. You know, we may all have a weakness because of a genetic thing, but we all know where our little trip switches are. I know I do, okay? So we all do, we're human. We don't live in a perfect world. We live in a fallen world. We live in a world where the pollution is, you know, our air is compromised, our food is compromised, and that's just the reality today. So the second point I want to share with you is take an inventory and relook your diet. And this is a very nice practical thing that you can do. The first thing is, you know, look at your refined sugars. And so we all hear about refined sugars. And what does that mean? Refined processed sugars. That is not the sugar that you find in your fruit. Those are the sugars that you find in your man-made processed foods, like your granola bars, like your salad dressings, your fruit juice that gets pasteurized to a very high heat, but it's marketed to us as sugar-free. Your pasta sauce, your marinara sauce that you use to make pasta. Some of those sauces have up to 8 to 13 grams of sugar per half a cup. Your flavored yogurts, some of those flavored yogurts you are eating the equivalent to half a cup of ice cream. So I say to myself, would you give your child a half a cup of ice cream in the morning? Would you eat a half a cup of ice cream in the morning? Per 100 grams, they have more sugar than a can of Coca-Cola. But yet they're marketed to us as healthy with prebiotics, probiotics, which is an absolute joke because we know that goes to processed, the milk is pasteurized. And so, you know, it's just so, that's why I love to educate people so that you can become knowledgeable and ask questions and make your own informed decisions, okay? So where else do we find these things? I said granola bars, I said crackers, I said salad dressings. So those are the processed things. But then we also, you know, we get stuck there, but then we don't realize that that's not the only place that sugar is being dumped into our bloodstream. Because at the end of the day, here in America, we are obsessed with calories in, calories out. So, you know, and those calories are important. And if you're working with a personal trainer and they want you to, you know, they have you on a program and they want you to eat a certain amount of calories, you got to work with them. But I always like to ask people this question. How about you change your mindset? And when you look at your food, the plate of food that you're about to eat, ask yourself the question, what impact is that going to food have on my body chemistry? Is it going to make me feel energetic? Is it going to deplete me of energy? Is my head going to spin because there's so much sugar or caffeine in there? I think that's so important. And when we start making those connections, when we start getting in touch with our bodies, when we start seeing the impact that food has in our bodies, that makes a huge difference. For example, I know I'm not allergic to dairy, but I'm intolerant to it. And the reason I know that I'm intolerant to it is because when I have Greek yogurt, within 45 minutes, it feels like I've got frogs slipping down the back of my throat. And I've got mucus pouring down the back of my throat. Okay, so if I'm invited somewhere and a friend serves me berries with yogurt, I may eat that yogurt because I don't want to offend her, but I'm going to take 2 digestive enzymes, and that's going to help break down the lactose in that's causing a bit of a challenge for me. So it's important for us to do that. Then the second thing is heated fats. Okay, heated fats. What fat are you cooking with? All these things can have a negative impact on our metabolism. Are you cooking, olive oil to a very high temperature? Well, most olive oil shouldn't be cooked at a very high temperature. So a better oil to cook with is your grapeseed oil or your avocado oil if you're going to stir fry things. Or ghee. Some people like to use ghee. A good clarified organic butter is also very, very beneficial. And then, of course, more foods that are not serving our health is foods that are depleted in fiber. So we all know a critical aspect to weight loss is sufficient fiber. And how often are your bowels moving? Your bowels should be moving. Did you know that once a day is good, but you can still be constipated? 3 times a day is actually normal. That's what's normal. And so the average American is having between 18 and 15 grams of fiber a day. And so that is far too little for what we need. And fiber is so important because it helps inside our guts is the majority of our immune system. And our immune system, 70% of our immune system starts in the gut. And remember, going back to, how metabolically flexible you are, during a crisis time such as this, if there is a kink in one of those areas, you are susceptible and you are more vulnerable in getting sick, no matter what of the bugs, etc., are out there. So we've got to focus on getting ourselves strong metabolically. And that's one of the things we can do is increase our digestion so that we have optimal digestion and we're not sitting in a situation where we have autotoxicity, which means we are poisoning ourselves inside because our digestive systems are slow, are sluggish. How do you know that you need to address that? Well, when you have no energy, when you wake up in the morning and you're tired, when at 11 o'clock in the morning you want to go lie down, or 2 o'clock in the morning you take a dive and you need some sugar to pick you up. Are you bloating? Do you have diarrhea? Do you have constipation? Do you have flatulence? All those things are indicative of maybe there's something going on in the gut. And so gut health is a whole different topic on its own. But one of the things I like to encourage you is to identify the allergen and then avoid it. Because once we do that, you're 50% there. And so you may be, when I say allergen, what are the allergens out there? They're eggs, gluten, dairy, soy, etc., etc. So we find that if people are intolerant or sensitive to many of those, because they are allergens and they remove them, the weight can start shifting again. So you need to find out, and people spend thousands. I mean, I think those allergy tests can cost $800 to $1,200, but I mean, JJ Virgin is a nutritionist, and she has a very, very nice program on how she helps you eliminate the allergens, and then you start putting them back, and then you see what you're intolerant to. And if you are intolerant to any of those things, in my opinion, it tells me that there's a gut issue. You need to address the gut. You need to heal the gut. And so what do we do? So digestive health is critical. It's a critical aspect in healthy weight management. And so how much fiber do you think you need? Okay, if you're a woman, or if you think you're a woman or a child, you need about 25 grams of fiber a day. And so that's also a challenge that I would want to set before you. Go and take a fiber inventory. You will be shocked to see how little fiber we are all actually eating. Okay, and that's why I want to encourage people to add more plants to your diet, to add an array of leafy greens to your diet, fresh fruits and vegetables, because all of those things are so high in fiber. Okay, and so if you're someone that's medicated for high blood sugar, you need uh, 50 grams of fiber a day. A man needs 38 grams of fiber a day. So it is important for us to eat sufficient fiber, your soluble and your insoluble fiber that comes from your, your nuts and seeds, your oatmeal, your flax seeds, your chia seeds, your hemp seeds, your beans and legumes. Beans and legumes, are also best soaked if you are going to eat them. It just digestively, it just works better if you soak your beans and legumes overnight and you rinse them. You can even cook them in a little bit of baking soda. That also helps to reduce flatulence. But legumes, specifically your legumes, your lentils are so beneficial because they bulk, so they give bulk and they make you feel fuller. And that's the problem today. So many of the foods are fiberless. And so there's no bulk to them. So we feel hungry more often, okay? So what do we focus on? Reduce the snack foods in your home. I know that's hard. I was speaking to a friend this morning saying, and we were all just saying, that's been my biggest challenge, and I'll be totally vulnerable. I mean, my kids have snacked too much. So my husband, and I don't buy unhealthy snacks. I mean, I buy popcorn and things. I always have a big bowl of, fruit, a wooden bowl, and I always stock it since they were little. I've always had a big bowl of fruit on my kitchen counter. And I would say to them, if you're hungry, eat a fruit. If you're thirsty, drink water. That's all they did, or dried fruit or nuts. I had bowls of nuts. And so my husband said, well, from next week on, just don't buy any snacks. I said, good. He said, they're all earning their own money. Now they can buy their own snacks. So I'm not going to, from next week on, I ain't going to buy popcorn and stuff anymore. If they're hungry, they can eat fruit as old as they are. So it is whatever we have in the house that does make a huge difference. So focus on meals that focus on good, healthy fats. So this is what I want to challenge. This is what I want to share with you. And I want you to take it and I want you to test it and go and research it and try it in your own life. I come from another country. I'm not of this culture, although we've almost been here for 13 years. And not to offend anyone, I'm also an American citizen now. But I've never seen a nation that snacks like the American nation. Oh my gosh. It's just snack all the time. So my question to you is, if you are a snacker, this is what I want to ask you. Are you a fat burner or are you a sugar burner? Okay. So this is what happens when you eat anything, whether it's almonds, which is a low glycemic. What do I mean by low glycemic? I mean by low glycemic is the rate at which, once that food has gone through digestion, the rate at which that food dumps sugar in the blood. Okay. So let me ask you this. If I had to put a piece of white bread and a piece of rye bread in front of you, which one will dump less sugar into the blood? You would answer me the rye bread, right? Okay. So at the end of the day, we need to understand every time you snack, the sugar ends up in the blood, the brain sends a message to the pancreas, secrete insulin. Insulin is secreted, which is your fat-loving hormone, okay? So I am a big proponent. It's my personal opinion. I'm not telling you to do it. It's always, remember, I always like to do a disclaimer. Before you make any dietary changes, before you add any supplements, you need to always pass it or run it by your registered healthcare provider, okay? But I have seen, my research is showing me that it is far more beneficial to eat 3 meals a day. The reason we want to snack there at 11 can be twofold. The reason is because we are metabolically inflexible, okay? Which means we need a snack more often. Or it could be something as practical as, what did you eat for breakfast this morning? Did you have a bowl of Cheerios with cow's milk? How quickly is that going to be metabolized? How long is that going to keep you? And it's not, it's pure sugar, okay? So it's going to dump sugar into your blood, and you're going to get a squish of insulin, and you're going to feel good quickly, and then it's going to dump, and then that's when you want to snack, okay? So I want to challenge you, when you are eating a meal, when you are having breakfast, when you are having lunch, when you are having dinner, make sure there are 3 things on your plate. Look at your plate and ask yourself, what quality protein have I got in this dish? What quality fat have I got in this dish? And how much fiber have I got on this dish? And I'm not saying mix psyllium husk and that's your fiber, okay? There's a time and a place for that. But I'm saying that if you are having a meal, it is so important for your metabolism to be boosted, to have good quality fats, good fiber, and good protein, okay? And I walk around with people that are different. I mean, some people are vegan, some people are vegetarian, some people are pescatarian, some people eat animal products. But at the end of the day, there are so many different ways that you can put together a good, wholesome meal. And that will carry you over until lunchtime. Because for me, if you want to be a fat burner, that's the key. You don't want to be snacking all day long. And then most people don't snack on, how can I say, apple slices and almond butter, right? We should, if we do want to snack, those are better snacks. So if you do feel you need to snack, or you just can't make it through to that next meal, then I want to challenge you to make your snacks in between your meals raw. So hummus with veggies. Go for those veggies that are higher in water, higher in vitamins. So you want your green beans, your peppers, your zucchini, your cucumber, those kind of things, your snap peas, carrots, what else? Broccoli, cauliflower. Those are all great when you're trying to lose weight or trying to maintain your weight. Great veggies to snack on. And they also have carbohydrates in them, right? Okay. I've mentioned fiber. I always, because I have different people listening to every one of my Zoom calls, I never ever like to let it go, or like not to mention that fiber is important for women as well, because I've got wonderful research that shows that fiber is also important to help get rid of excess estrogen in the bowel. So many of us are exposed to estrogen, which chemicals in the environment that mimic estrogen, that attach to the estrogen receptors in our bodies. Those can be in the form of what are you putting on your skin? Your skin is your largest organ, right? What body cream are you putting on your skin? What base are you putting on your face? Oh, that matches. What hand cream are you using? What makeup are you using? What bubble bath are you using? Or what do you call it? Bath shower gel are you using? So many of those things have got parabens and petrochemicals that mimic estrogen. They are fat-loving hormones. They're going to sit wherever we have fat. They sit on our body. So a lot of women are on hormone replacement therapy, birth control, and I can go on and on. So it is important. You'll see, I always speak about fiber to get those bowels moving, to get them moving. And AIM has a wonderful supplement called Fit and Fiber, which is, I'm going to be sharing about it when I do my demonstration in a bit. And it's a wonderful supplement that you can add to your smoothie. It tastes like peach. It just, if you know you're deficient and you know, I have people that say, listen, I just don't like leafy greens. It's going to take me a long time to eat them. And some people are picky. That's the reality. And so it's just a nice tool that you can use to add more soluble and insoluble fiber in your diet. And it tastes like peach, and you can just drink it with your meal. And it's very kind and gentle to your stomach. It just is so kind to your stomach. So I love Ames Fit and Fiber, and I'll show it to you when we make the smoothie. Okay, so again, eat your meal, and then try and go over to the next meal. So that's a little goal that I want to share with you. So it is important. How important is food in weight management? We've spoken about that, and I want to quickly just share this. During this time of lockdown, or when we are home more often, why don't you take a look and see what hunger really looks like for you? Now that we're confined to our homes or at home more often, I know most of the workplaces have not opened up yet. They are phasing people in. So for me, I've sat with several people in the last few days, and my question to them was, how hungry are you really? Or are you thirsty? I always used to say to my children when they were small in my mother tongue, is jy honger of is jy lus? Which means, are you really hungry, or are you just wanting to comfort eat? And that's a question I like to ask folks. Is it emotional for you? Are you eating to fill an emotional void? And then I want to encourage you to try and find healthy distractions. So drink a glass of water before you go to the fridge. What are you craving? God made our bodies in such profound ways that our cells have the ability to send us messages. But because we're so busy and on the go, we've lost the ability to interpret those messages. So a huge thing with a healthy weight is, there are two things that people crave the most. What do you think they are? Sugar. And then a lot of people tell me cheese or fries or chips. I don't know what those kind of things. And they say, oh, we're craving salt. But it's not actually salt, it's the fat that they're craving. So this is what I want to say to you. If you are, I find when I eat sufficient fruit, and for me, all of us are different. You have to see what works for you. For me, 2 to 3 pieces of fruit a day is sufficient. That's what my body likes that. And so I go for fruits that are berries. Like now it's berry season, blueberry season, blackberries. We feast, we go blueberry picking, strawberry picking, and we freeze for the winter months. So we work hard in picking. And so your berries are very, very kind and gentle to the pancreas. And they are lower in sugar, and they are a better option if you are looking to lose weight or to help regulate your weight. But I find if I crave sugar, have I had my fruit today? So I do want to debunk. I'm telling you now, it's a myth that fruit makes you fat. Because we have been bombarded with all the hype on sugar and did you know, just want to throw it in here because we have new people, at the turn of the century, the average American ate 5 pounds of sugar per year. Now they are eating 132 pounds of sugar a year. Isn't that shocking? Per person. And I know that people think, oh, but it's not me. I'm not eating that. But that sugar is coming from hidden sugars. I do corporate talks. I do church. I've spoken to thousands of people over the last 23 years. And I am shocked to see people call me 2-3 weeks later and say, Leré, we thought we ate healthy. We do. But man, when we started tracking the hidden sugars that we eat, they put it in everything. And it's in everything. Everything. So read your labels. You got to read your labels. Let me, so now here I've lost my track. Okay, so find healthy distractions, go for a walk, drink a glass of water. If you're craving something sweet, have a mango, or have a bowl of fruit salad, or have a bowl of berries, and then you eat the Snickers bar. No, don't. But what's going to happen is you're not going to eat the whole Snickers bar. Maybe the first time you'll have half, but the next time you're not going to eat. So I believe that that's critical in helping curb sugar cravings. The other thing is fat. We've been lied to so much over the years that fat makes us fat. Your whole endocrine system, your brain, your thyroid, which regulates your metabolism, cannot function without fat. Good fat does not make you fat. It's the sugars that make you fat. And so we need to be, to burn fat properly, we need to be including your omega-3 fats, which are your essential fatty acids. Essential means they are essential to our well-being. Your body cannot make omega-3. Where do we find them? In the animal kingdom, we find them in tuna, herring, sardines, trout, and salmon. In the vegetable kingdom, your omega-3s are your chia seeds, hemp seeds, pumpkin seeds, walnuts, and flax seeds. So throw them in your smoothies, sprinkle them over your salads, get them into your diet, because if you do not get omega-3s in your diet, your body cannot make hormones called prostaglandins, which help regulate inflammation in the body. And of course, the more inflamed we are, the less we are going to be able to lose weight too. Okay? And then we spoke about find out what you're intolerant to and avoid it. Go for a walk, get moving, go for exercise, because the body will start to burn fat, but something else will happen. The brain will also get re-energized. And we know that when we get outside in the natural sunlight and the natural fresh air, and we exercise, our body makes a hormone called serotonin. It's a happy hormone. You can be dog tired, have a terrible day at work, come home, force yourself to put on your running shoes. But when you come back, you feel like a different person. Ever experienced that? And so exercise is just, it positively affects over 18 endocrine hormones in your body. So I cannot tell you how critical exercise is, stress management. So all these things absolutely play a huge role. Then I want to encourage you to reduce the sugar impact. So we've spoken about taking note of the added sugars, but what else can we do? So just to reiterate, simple swaps. We want to go from white rice to wild rice, or quinoa, or amaranth, or buckwheat, or millet. Those are the ancient grains that are not genetically modified, okay? Millet is a biblical grain. Did you know that millet is the only alkaline forming grain? It's beautiful. It cooks like quinoa. Very, very nice. Go from white potatoes to pumpkin or sweet potatoes. Dried fruit to fresh fruit. Flavored yogurts to maybe a Greek style coconut, plain coconut yogurt. So those are all things that we can do. And the last thing I want to close off before I demonstrate the smoothie is to alkalize. So your body cannot burn fat. Your hormones cannot work properly if your whole system is acidic. So if you look at the pH of the human blood, the pH of the human blood is 7.35 to 7.45. It's very, very important for us to maintain a more alkaline pH. So there's an easy way of doing that, and you don't have to obsess about it, but you can go to the vitamin shop and you can go and buy a litmus paper. It's a pH tester. It's called Enzyme Medica. Enzyme, the word enzyme, Medica. And what you do is first thing in the morning, you wake up, you spit on saliva, put some saliva, that sounds more ladylike, on a teaspoon, and break a piece of that litmus paper off and then stick it in the teaspoon and then pull it out. Just a few seconds. And then you're going to flip the box, and at the back of the box, there's a graph which will go, I think, something like from 5 to 8, and it starts at khaki green and it goes up to royal blue. And so you want to be in that royal blue area consistently. Now you will see on days that you're feeling down or you're stressed, you may fall back to about a 6.5, 6.8. You never want to go below a 6.8. So that the goal is to keep the pH in an alkaline state. And how do we do that? By eating live, raw, living foods. More raw foods, more leafy greens. Your green foods are the most powerful healers, nourishers, detoxifiers, and cleansers of the human blood. And that's why for 23 years, I've taken a product called Barley Life. It's a sprouted green juice powder of the green leaf of barley. And it is just a food. It's not a supplement. It's a food. And so it's a juice powder that you mix in water, and it's a juice. So there's no cellulose in there, because we are not a cow. We don't have all those stomachs that can digest the grasses. And so it is a pure green juice that I use every single day of my life to keep me alkalized and to keep my blood healthy. Because when your blood is healthy, your cells will be healthy. And it's a food. It's got all your amino acids. It's got iodine, which your thyroid cannot function without iodine. And a lot of us are on thyroid meds today because we don't get enough iodine or iodine, depending on where you are in the world. Okay. So that's another reason why I love Barley Life, because I know I'm getting my iodine in the form of Icelandic kelp. And I always say it adds 3 extra hours of stamina and energy into my day. Okay, just to recap, do not stock the no-nos anywhere in your house. Do at all times stock a large variety of good foods. So just start adding the good foods. My children know that they can have as much fruit as what they want, but I've taught them from small. Now, if they're really craving 6 bananas, there's something in their body that wants the bananas. But I try and teach them, have a banana, have a orange, have an apple, have a pear, so that you get a wide variety of all those different nutrients instead of just having 6 pears or 6 bananas, okay? There have been some times where they've put away 3 bananas and their bodies have needed the potassium or something in there, and I've left them. Okay, does that make sense? Was that helpful to you? Okay, your omega-3 fats, with regards to supplementation, that is the one supplement that I encourage everyone to be on prophylactically, and that is an essential fatty acid. And AIM has one. AIM is the company that I have been using. I know Kathy and Tara and Kelly use these products and have for many, many years. It is this American company. They are whole food based, and they were the first company 38 years ago to come up with the green juice powder, the powder. And so it's just real food that goes through your mucous membranes into your bloodstream. And with respect, it doesn't matter 2 things. Your vitamins and minerals are wasted if your gut is not healthy. First. Secondly, your vitamins and minerals mean nothing unless they reach the cells. So how bioavailable is the supplement that you are using? And they're wonderful supplements across the world, in America, beautiful. But my personal arrow in my quiver is the AIM. And so I'm going to quickly swing around, if you can just bear with me. I'm going to swing around and I want to show you quickly how to make a delicious, can you all see me? Okay, so I'll unmute you in a bit, But this is my favorite smoothie for the morning. So, grab some almond milk. Right, so I'm going to show you how to make my most favorite smoothie in the whole wide world. When I wake up in the morning and I can feel I've had a lot of stress that previous day, I love to make this smoothie because it gives me, I cannot tell you the energy it gives me. It helps to regulate my blood sugar, and it helps me not to dip, okay? My husband is blowing with the blower outside. Can you believe it? When I'm doing Zoom class. Isn't that interesting? Okay, so I use a good, I love the NutriBullet. Any one of you know the NutriBullet? It's a lovely blender, but I use an unsweet almond milk. And so what I do is I put in, always remember with a smoothie, this is a tip I give people, rather put too little liquid in, and you can always add more if it's too thick, versus putting too much. Now you've put too little. Do you know what I'm saying? Now you end up having to add 10 different things. So I put about 3/4 of a cup of unsweet almond milk. And then my favorite protein powder in the whole wide world is called ProPeas. So it is a certified vegan protein powder. It is not inflammatory in the body. It leaves an alkaline ash once it's gone through digestion, and it's not an allergen. So let me tell you, the most popular protein powders out there is soy and whey. And Dr. Oz, I'm very thankful to him because I just so happen to endorse a pea protein powder. Dr. Oz did a show where he compared pea, whey, and soy. And they found out that whey and soy digest in 90 minutes, but pea protein takes 4 hours to digest. So what's going to happen? You're going to have sustained blood sugar, and you're going to feel full for a lot longer. So the recipe I'm showing you is basically a meal replacement. So I would have this for breakfast, or if I've been out and I've got to come back and quickly grab something and I don't have time to eat, I quickly make the smoothie, pour it in a cup, and I'm back in the car and I'm drinking my smoothie, and I know I'm going to be nourished. So I do a nice big scoop of the ProPeas, and I want to encourage you, if you are using a protein powder, why don't you quickly jump up and go and get that protein powder and go and look and count the number of ingredients at the back of that protein powder. There will probably be about 15 to 20, maybe 30 ingredients. That's how processed it is. I can honestly say, and very proud to say, that there are only 4 ingredients in this AM ProPeas. It's smooth, it's not gritty. We use it in our protein power balls. I have a lovely granola recipe that I make. The recipes are all on my website. And then I like hemp hearts. Remember I spoke about omega-3? So these are at Trader Joe's. They are hemp seeds, and they are basically just shelled. And so I do a huge dessert spoon of hemp into there. I only take about 2 or 3 frozen strawberries. That's it. I don't do more than that. And then you can either use 1/4 of a fresh beet, like a raw beet. Trader Joe's sells them. Or I use Ames Ready Beets. It's a concentrated beet juice powder, and it jives so fantastically with strawberries. They love each other. They just complement each other. So I take about a teaspoon of that, and extra fiber. So you can do this 2 ways. Sometimes I just use the hemp seeds. I don't use Ames Fit and Fiber, okay? So you can do this without this. But if you want a little bit more fiber, then you can add. And I'm just going to add because it's good for me, right? It's got prebiotics that feed the good bacteria. And then you can just blend it all together. But what I like to do on those days that I don't have energy, and I know I'm speaking about different things now, but AIM has a product called Peak Endurance. And this is one of my favorite products because I'm a sports girl and I run and I play tennis competitively. You all familiar with Gatorade or Powerade? I don't know, wherever you are in the world. Gatorade is an energy drink. It's a electrolyte replacement, but it's very high in sugar, very high in colorants. And so AIM has the most amazing product called Peak Endurance. It only has 1 gram of natural sugar. It has all your B vitamins 1 to 12 in a whole food state. And it's got no caffeine, no stimulants, and no ephedra. So I love this because you can just drink it up and you can have it as a tonic. You don't have to use it with your exercise, but if you've gone exercising, you mix it with about 16 ounces of water in a shaker cup, and then you use it to put back the electrolytes. It's got all 6 electrolytes in. And on a morning where I feel I need help, I put a teaspoon of the Peak Endurance in, put about half a cup of ice, and then I'm going to put you on mute because I don't want you to hear the noise. I'll be back in 2 seconds. Okay. So I added a little bit too much ice. I should have actually just added 2 blocks. Give me 2 seconds. All right. And then I want you to see what a beautiful, beautiful color. Just look at that. There you go. And that's the delicious smoothie. Isn't that beautiful? And so I like to have cocoa nibs or cacao nibs. You can buy them actually at Trader Joe's or at TJ Maxx or Amazon. And cacao is very high in magnesium. And so magnesium calms you. That's why your green foods are also so important, because research shows that, first of all, research shows that 75% of Americans are deficient in magnesium. And research also shows that if you are deficient in magnesium, you have higher elevated levels of CRP, which is C-reactive protein. And C-reactive protein is a very important marker that we need to keep our eyes on. I worked with epidemiologist, Dr. James A. Baer from USC Cancer Prevention for a season. And it was interesting that he spoke at one of my conferences, and he encouraged every participant, when you go for your annual checkup, in his words, he said, I want to encourage you to ask your doctor to test your CRP. And he said from the stage, he said that your CRP needs to be 3, that the number needs to be 3 or below, preferably 0, but anything over 5, you're in trouble. Measures inflammation. The more magnesium, the lower the CRP. Where do we find magnesium? Like I said, the raw cacao, but also the majority of the magnesium is our leafy greens. And we don't eat enough leafy greens. So this is the barley life that I spoke about. You will feel the difference. I will never, ever go without it. I can feel so down, but I mix my barley. And if you don't like the green taste, you can mix it with the Peak Endurance, and it tastes like a green berry juice. Okay, so these are all things that you can do to keep your metabolism boosted. And hopefully, if you apply some of these things, you can just give your metabolism a good reboot. But let me tell you, this smoothie, I wish you were all here, because I am going to take a sip. Mm, it's so good. It tastes like a strawberry milkshake, but without all the nonsense, right? Out all the sugar and the colorants and the beetle juice extract that they usually put in to make it pink. So I'm going to unmute you all, and if you have any questions, but before we do that, I'm going to actually lock off and end the recording so that we can ask questions afterwards. But so thank you very much for joining me today. If you are watching a recording of this and you would like to contact me, you can contact me at aliveagainonline.com, and I have a contact notification form there. I have Instagram and Facebook, which is at Alive Again LLC. And so it'll be wonderful for you to contact me. If you feel you want to try any of these products, you are welcome to go to my website and you can order there. Or if you have a friend that uses these products and that have told you about them, please be sure to contact that friend and she can also order them for you. So thank you so much for the privilege of your time, and enjoy the rest of your week. Take care. Bye.